Good morning, Galactic War. This is Star Marshal I-023, broadcasting from the SES Agent of the State. Crack open your coffee ration and listen up while we bring you all the latest and greatest of humanity's heroes, as approved by the Ministry of Defence and Truth. At the top of the show, we want to take a moment and honour the recent sacrifice of many Helldivers stationed aboard the SES Founding Father of Family Values in their deployment against the automaton threat. They were successful in their objectives, so Liberty marches onward, holding their martyrdom close to her chest. However, I want to take a moment to personally address rumours I have heard and reported, I can assure you, throughout the SEAF that these brave and valiant heroes lost their lives due to inadequate support from Super Earth. This is a clear and obvious dissonant lie. Repeating it makes you look like a fool, undeserving of your vote, and worst of all, tries to absolve the automatons of their vile role in this ceaseless and unwarranted aggression. It was the socialist regime that killed our colleagues, not managed democracy. Be sure to report anyone who repeats this undemocratic bile for a supplemental boost to your citizenship classification structure ranking. Now, coming up on today's programming, you can look forward to our exclusive interview with Eagle One, freshly reassigned from the SES Founding Father of Family Values prior to its most recent deployment, and she'll be answering your questions, so be sure to send those in. However, to save you all the trouble, no, she isn't willing to co-sign a CO1 form with you, Helldiver. I should know. I asked as soon as she got aboard. But first, a word from our sponsor, the Ministry of Prosperity. You should all know how the galaxy is united against our very way of life, Helldivers. They seek to assail us on two fronts. Every day, thousands of votes are lost like sparks from the Liberty Day pyre, and you may think it is your duty to stop it. Well, you're right, but there's more to it than just us. For every Helldiver fighting the good fight, there are tens of men, women and children over 7 back home who should be fighting too, in the economic war for freedom. A strong economy is second only to a strong military, so do your part. Only purchase from official Super Earth sanctioned sources and retailers. Don't spend local. Spend Super Earth. Because you can't spell colony without economy. And now, for the latest from the warfront. Construction of the Menticant line has recently been completed, blunting the desperate advance of the automatons following our successful annihilation of their galactic assets as part of Operation Rapid Disassembly. However, like a dying animal, they lash out, focused all of their nefarious socialist intent on the planet of Marfark. Super Earth High Command orders all Helldivers to repel the invaders and secure prosperity for all. As a word of advice, intelligence reports that so-called factory striders have been spotted en masse. This is a sign the automatons are on their last legs, so desperate for poorly trained expendable foot soldiers, good only to fire a flare. Well, they've resorted to mobilizing their very fabricators. These ramshackle parodies of war machines shouldn't pose a threat to any real Helldiver. Even your Liberator could take them apart. But we do recommend the inclusion of an anti-armor weapon to spread liberty just that bit faster. Good luck down there, Helldivers. Tell them a new one for the Star Marshal, will ya? In other news, the Ministry of Defence investigation into Arrowhead Military Solutions came to a close today. For those unaware, the Ministry of Defence ordered an investigation into Arrowhead after a Helldiver After Action report dating to the beginning of the Second Galactic War was leaked by dissident anarchists who claimed the, quote, unreliable targeting systems, end quote, used by Arrowhead in the creation of the anti-tank weapon, the FAF-14 Spear, was responsible for the loss of a near full complement of Helldivers on a deployment. The investigation came to a close today when Arrowhead CEO, widely beloved industrialist Johan, underwent a grueling 15-minute questioning session, including the mandatory 10-minute recess, and 4-hour session of Super Golf with the committee members. General North, the head of the investigation committee, released the following statement. We, the Ministry of Defence Investigative Committee into the matter of Arrowhead Military Solutions and the FAF-14 Spear, conclude no faulty engineering is present in its system. The weapon is created to the highest Super Earth standards, and this baseless attack on Arrowhead shows the hatred held by the author of this report for the individual merit of Arrowhead, of Johan, and of myself as a paid consultant of Arrowhead. I hereby order that the author is posthumously demoted for their undemocratic behaviour, with any living relatives required to pay restitution to the offended parties. Additionally, I call upon my colleagues in the Ministry of Truth to carry on a full-scale review of all Helldiver deployments with this weapon system and review the after-action reports to ensure no further libel can rot at the heart of the SEAF, with appropriate punishments to be meted out on those who attempt to disguise their feelings as a soldier by blaming an innocent corporation. Speaking as your host, I'm glad to see this faithless former Helldiver, who I've been told was previously stationed on the Patriot of Patriotism, has been held accountable for their actions. That's why I love Super Earth. No one, not even the heroes that are Helldivers, can be held above the law. Unsurprisingly, Arrowhead has welcomed this development with a short statement thanking General North and committing additional weapon systems to the fight against the automatons, including the Spear, in face of the deployment of their nigh indestructible factory Striders, which has resulted in Arrowhead stocks reaching an all-time high. And it's almost time for us to play you some music, Helldivers. But we've got time for one question from you out there. Remember, you can send us any questions or comments to our galactic wide web page where, subject to review by democracy officers, you can have your message read out on the air. This comes in from Helldiver J-53, stationed aboard the Titan of Humankind in orbit above Men Kent for refit. Dear Star Marshal, can you give a shout out to my daughter Victoria in Fort Justice, the Kelvin sector? She turned 7 a month ago and accepted her assignment as a cargo hauler in the Fort Justice Star Yards. That short period of time, she managed to overhear some of the senior haulers talking about unionising and reported it immediately. They were all executed live on Freenet, and we couldn't be prouder. J53, it would be my honour to shout out this little democratic spitfire. Victoria, if you're listening, I want you to know you've earned the respect of this old Star Marshal. It can be hard when the adults who should know better stray away from Lady Liberty, but I'm proud you managed to hold your ground and set him straight with a firing squad. You can't see it, but you've earned a salute from me. I hope you sign up as soon as you can, because I reckon there's a cape here with your name on it, kid. Of course, this is a good time to remind everyone that this broadcast is classified to those of the Helldiver Corps. If during the course of this public broadcast you overheard any of this, please make yourself known to the local democracy officer. Remember, per Super Earth Executive Order, any crime stemming from overhearing this broadcast can be postponed by enlistment in the SEAF. And now, let's turn to some music. Remember to get your questions in for Eagle 1, and we'll see you in more Fark. This is Divide Music and Jonathan Young with your Call to Arms. We'll be back real soon.